is Kitty Anderson again. I'm a board certified menopause coach. I am 64 years old and I've been doing HRT for 14 years. This is Coco. She's my dog. She's my pandemic puppy and she's helping me on these videos, I think, or hurting. I'm not really sure. But today I'm going to make a brief video about extreme diets, and I'm going to talk about 4 clients that I worked with just in the last week or so who ended up in menopause from an extreme diet. One is 26, one was 37, and the other was 41. So this is well before the average age of 51. So I want to talk about this too. And the reason it just shocks my heart, right, is that these women were hospitalized. All of them were hospitalized. And that's the kind of woman that comes for coaching, right? So she's got her systems entirely wired wrong. Um, and I'm going to explain why. But we don't want you in the hospital, right? We don't want you in the hospital. And you can end up there. And or end up painting yourself into a corner where there's actual visible brain damage from these diets. So that's why I take this so seriously. I just cannot believe that people are being hospitalized. I do realize my biology background really helped me figure things out in menopause, and then later it helped me pursue the information in nutrition that really makes a difference. Now, remember, no one gets rich. You're not following a fad, you're not buying a book. I mean, the autoimmune protocol nutrient dense diet, I think the book is about $12 on Amazon. No one's going to get rich from you doing a nutrient dense diet. Nobody. So you're going to get all the advertising and everything for other types of diets. And they're going to make you feel guilty about saving the planet. So let me just say up front that nutrient dense dieting often involves grass fed animals and wild caught fish. And that is the healthiest, sustainable type of agriculture that we can do. The monoculture that we do with plants is horrible for the earth. It's horrible for the next generation of plants. And I'm not going to explain a lot why, but I think there's a lot of misleading information out there about how you have higher morality if you're a vegan or vegetarian. You have a higher calling, and it's not a higher calling. I'm sorry. Sustainable food is a higher calling. Helping people recover from disease with food, which is what I do, nutrition therapy is a higher calling. This is not, you're being sold something. You're being sold the supplements that are missing, the vitamins and minerals and phytonutrients that are missing because you're doing a fad extreme diet. So let me just say that I do take this really seriously. And if it's a problem for women coming to me, a single coach, it's a problem all over the planet. So I just want to let you know. So I'm going to describe a little bit about extreme diets and how they won't last, and how they're nutrient poor, how they're missing a big chunk of elements of nutrition, right? So we're missing something, and that can bring on ovary damage, brain damage, and menopause. So in all these cases, we've got serious situations where women are following a fad. And I don't mean to be judgmental, and I won't be with you if you come to me for coaching. I'll understand a lot of them are pursuing it for weight loss. But let's look at me at 14 years of AIP and 10 years of paleo. So 120 pounds, 117 pounds some days. I mean, it's all there. I'm fit, I'm healthy, I'm happy. I've got the nutrition that I need. My brain works well, my body works well. I've got fitness and happiness, and you know, my life is good. My life is good with nutrients, and I'm going to explain why it's so important. It's the one thing that's going to carry you through. So hang in there. Details to follow. Let me say first that I have your initial HRT appointment guide. And maybe that's a misnomer now that I've been working on this for a few years, and it's over 100 pages of menopause guidance. A lot of it talks to my personal story, which I think is really important for you to see kind of a microscopic view of somebody who's had 14 years experience going through 12 different doctors. Oh my God. So don't get me started. So that's a big chunk of this. A lot is, I have over 150 references. So I'm a researcher coach. I'm a person who likes to go deep and explore things and combine information that you've never seen before. So there's a big section in here on brain health, and that really is my strong suit, is brain health recovery, brain maintenance, and dementia prevention. Although mental health is so tightly tied to that, you really can't separate those two. Um, but I've had about 5 years of different types of research working on this project. And so this is something I share with you. What I've done also is added the links to the videos. Because I'm up to 45 videos, I went ahead and on each section where it's appropriate, I link off to a video that covers it too. So there'll be a little bit different information in the video. It really doesn't repeat exactly what's in the initial HRT appointment guide. So that gives you kind of a way to zoom in exactly on the information that you need to hear. So that's the most important thing. You can email me at jumpstartaip@gmail.com. This is a free ebook for you. This is to help you on your menopause journey. And I really have seen this kickstart a whole bunch of women on the right track. It's really amazing. Some women just need to read one sentence in here that just rings for them. It just rings true, and they make changes. And then they come back to me, and I hear it in their voice. I can hear the changes in their voice. I know that they got the HRT that they need, and they got the HRT that they need, and they got the diet figured out. So I also do something I call HRT Plus, and you have all the details in here so that you don't have to go hunting around for melatonin doing this and pregnenolone and all that kind of stuff. So it's all kind of combined for the menopausal woman, right? Or perimenopausal woman. Either way, it's all pretty much the same. Anyway, on to extreme diets. All right, client number one. Let's call her Camellia. I don't know, that's a made up name. I keep everybody's information secure. Um, she is from a Caribbean country. She is not originally from the United States. She and her husband immigrated here and come from an impoverished environment, but not necessarily food impoverished, but they got away from eating traditionally island foods and cooking traditionally, right? And then as a young woman, she was very influenced by the media here in the United States, and she adopted a vegan diet. So it really eliminates animal products. And a nutritionist will tell you there's about 14 elements that are missing out of their nutrition because they eliminate animal products. And many of them try to supplement with supplements. And as I've said in my video, food over supplements, we can't trust the supplement industry. It is unregulated, it is unpure. It is taking the most available product. Often it's the wrong form of the vitamin. It is not even the vitamin or mineral that you need. It is missing fiber and phytonutrients. I mean, you try these supplements, but you're not going to feel as well as you will feel on a diet that has all the elements of nutrition. But let's talk about her situation first. So she ended up at 37 years old with an early menopause. She had enough organ damage and enough um, brain issues that she felt really painted into a corner. She ended up hospitalized for 3 years with mental health conditions because she had undetected menopause. She was just too early to land on the radar, and the psychiatrist missed the entire thing. So now she is in coaching with me. She is pursuing HRT. She's pursuing HRT plus, so some of the other hormones that we use to calm inflammation in the brain. She is pursuing a nutrient dense diet we call the autoimmune protocol, because your immune system is like one of the first things to break. It is so nutrient dense. So, and I'll talk a little bit more about the autoimmune protocol, but I have a few videos on that already. But I'll talk about the core of it at the very end here so that you can see the difference. Um, so here she is on her way to recovery, hoping to work again, hoping, building a life. She is building a life. And I've been able to help her. I'm really happy to help. She has enough with culture shock and trying to navigate America, right? She has enough stress in her life. She doesn't need nutrient stress on top of it. Client number two is a 41-year-old who is also vegan. She is missing key nutrients and trying to supplement. She's highly educated. She does know the difference. She felt better on a vegan diet because she was on the standard American diet and she was having some food reactions, which is actually really common for most of us to have some kind of food reactions to the crazy emulsifiers, additives, colors, all the fake textures. We have everything in our highly processed food and it really messes you up. Oh my gosh. It stops nutrient absorption, it stops digestion. You are literally starving on the ultra processed food diet. So it is not going to feed you. You are not going to feel well. So as you convert over to veganism, you'll start to feel the energy generated by vegetables, and it's fantastic. There is nothing like those wonderful B vitamins, but a vegetable is going to give you maybe 1 to 3 nutrients in it. And something like liver, which is a storage organ for vitamins, minerals, and rare elements, rare nutrients are all inside of liver. So this is the core of the autoimmune protocol. It's got 16 basic nutrients at almost the daily dose that you need. So a single 4-ounce serving there is going to give you 16 things, whereas a single vegetable will focuses down on one thing. And then the other thing is vegetables have a lot of plant chemistry that serves the plant, right? So you've got a lot of chemistry in there that makes the seed protected from the environment. That's not really good for your digestion. That's got a lot of plant chemistry in there that is actually going to roughen up the intestinal wall, create a thickness in the mucus layer, and make it hard for nutrients to get through. So there's just a whole bunch of things about veganism that can't compare to the autoimmune protocol. Sorry, got dog problems today. No one's around but me. Anyway, so client number two ends up with an electrolyte imbalance. She ends up with a very early menopause at 41. She's throwing all the doctors off. It takes 9 doctors to identify that she is in perimenopause and that she needs HRT. It takes her that long. If she gets the HRT, she has to get the HRT at a super high dose in order to pull back from the edge on that. But part of the reason she was on the edge at 41, 10 years earlier, is extreme diets, right? So I've already covered vegan diets. So let's move on to the next client. My next client is only 26. 26. What were you doing when you were 26? I was coming out of college in my first job in a big city for the first time. I was new to the world. I was trying to deal with the stressors of a 40-hour work week, which was honestly killing me. I was in a very big city with a long commute, and I just didn't have health and wellness front and center. I struggled a lot there. I only lasted like 3 years in Chicago. I could not do it. It was too gray. The weather was too bad. I needed to be outside. I needed sunshine. And even just the difference between Ohio and Chicago made a massive difference in my life. So at 26, that's where people are, right? They're exploring the world. They're sowing their oats. They're out. They want to be healthy in order to experience all the things that they're going to experience. So this young woman lives in India. So India has enough English language proficiency that she could work with me. So she's 26. Here's what happened to her. India has a lot of vegetarianism, right? And for religious reasons, I know. But it's also been kind of, should we say, bastardized or hurt by processed food. You add processed vegetarianism in there, and you're getting the same issues with processing, right? So you're still getting all those kinds of issues. So you add the stress of her law school experience, and then you throw COVID on top of it. So here's what happened. She was vegetarian. She had some ultra processed food in her diet. She had the stress of law school just totally wearing her down. She had some autoimmune genes, right? So that kind of a person is very sensitive to hormone and nutrient loss. And so she had a crash and then got COVID. So then she was having long COVID. She was hospitalized. She's having long COVID. She's 26 years old. Who has to do this? She just had a bunch of things coming together at once. And it's horrifying to me that somebody would have to go through that. But she got caught. She got painted into a corner, is what I call it. So she had cultural pressure. She has law school pressure. She has parent pressure. Then she has pandemic pressure, and on top of that, catching COVID because her country wasn't able, no fault of India's, right? It wasn't able to get vaccines early enough to compensate for the nutritional loss. And so here she is at 26 with no chance of having a family. She is in menopause, and she is giving up her future as far as family life. And autoimmune genetics makes you doubly exposed to nutrient poor diets. You're in danger. You're in danger. And I'm not, you can do the 23andMe and find out if you have autoimmune genes. And you can find out if you're prone to an autoimmune diet. I would definitely recommend it if you're tempted if you're prone to an autoimmune disease, if you're tempted to actually lean towards nutrient poor eating, this might steer you back on track. I always say do whatever testing it takes to get it on paper and in front of you to get your attention to move you towards a nutrient dense diet. The next client is coming to me post menopause. She's an African American woman. She took estrogen for 3 years around menopause, around age 51. In fact, she couldn't remember when her menopause was because she was having memory issues. So she's coming to me really in ill health at age 59. So she's had a number of years, maybe 6 years off of estrogen. She tried, she was afraid. The reason she didn't do the estrogen is she was afraid of cancer. Now, I have a video showing that breast cancer mortality is decreased by, your risk for breast cancer is decreased by 40% if you use HRT. It does not cause cancer. That was misinformation passed around the world. So I have a link in the YouTube description to some slides I did for that particular video. If you want to go through that, you can get the 2022 update. So this woman, we had a struggle trying to get to the information together because she was having so many brain issues. She had landed in the hospital. So here we go again. So she was on a diet they call carnivore. She was having seizures. So she ended up in the hospital with seizures, which is electrical activity in your brain. And then they ended up doing an MRI and they found some brain anomalies. So it had changed the structure of her brain, the combination of being estrogen deficient plus the combination of all the missing nutrients from carnivore. You got those two things together, and then you've got a 6-year span of struggle. She had weight loss from the carnivore diet. So it looked like a win, but then she had the hospitalization. And so really I just had to show her the elements that were missing in that diet and talk to her about the difference between nutrient dense eating that we need to do after menopause. So as I've said before, and I'll say it again, is when your estradiol level is low, the gates to your nutrients are tiny. They're just tiny. You need to open those wide open so you can get those nutrients in. So you'll see that many, many diseases are not only hormone loss, but they're nutrient loss. And the reason that you have low nutrients is the type of food that you're eating plus the low estradiol. So it's a train wreck. It is a train wreck. And we're often heading towards an extreme diet because we're wanting the weight loss. And really, as you can see, I have nutrient density and a high dose HRT, and that's how I maintain my weight. Of course, I move. Yes, I exercise, but that's not the centerpiece of everything. The exercise can happen because I have HRT and nutrients, right? That's how it happens. So, so this woman is making some big decisions. I just told her, this is your life. You're weighing off weight loss. You're playing off weight loss for nutrients, right? And you didn't realize you were making that exchange, that you were trading one for the other, that health was going to be evasive without. Now, there is an incredible opportunity for all of these women to heal their brain because your brain is going to respond to nutrients. We know this from studies. One very famous study, I think, is on diabetics, where they did the paleo diet with exercise. So they had a control group of diabetics that did nothing. Then they had a group that did the paleo diet alone, and then they had one that did paleo diet and exercise. And they saw a boost in the chemistry that nourishes your brain cells and enhances them and grows them. You never get new brain cells once you have some brain damage, but you can change the shape of those brain cells and you can make them into a healthy shape so they receive more information and they send more information and they clean up the trash of brain cells, right? Brain cells have energy, they use food, and then they take out the trash. Now, you can have brain cell death if your brain is not taking out the trash, right? So we're trying to facilitate these types of activities within the brain. And I am a great example of somebody who had brain fog, couldn't remember my own phone number, ended up fixing everything, going to university courses, getting board certified at age 60. So many, many years into HRT and nutrient dense diets. And then having the wherewithal to do research and build a course on menopause and continue to coach women. I coach women globally now, right? As you can see, I coach all different cultures and all different types of women. I do follow you emotionally. I don't emphasize this a lot on these videos, but I do follow you to be where you are today. That is the only way for me to get you the information that you need. I need to know what you know. I need to follow you. So it's a very you centric experience. And that's how it can be effective in a single session because we're going to find out your issues and pinpoint. We're going to create a safe space for you to tell me your issues, right? Then we're going to focus on the ones that we think are going to make a big, big difference in your life. And we build action plans based on your life goals. I don't give a lot of advice during a session, right? I give advice on Facebook. I give advice on YouTube. I give advice out in the world, right? Because that's the format. But in a coaching session, it's about you and your emotions and your status, where you are today, right? So I don't know what you're ready for. I don't know, but hopefully my motivational coaching lifts your energy. I hear it in your voice. I know your energy is lifted, and I can get you to making a decision on nutrient dense dieting. I can get you to make a decision on HRT. So that I think is really valuable because those are just two cornerstones of postmenopausal health. Two important things. So that's 4 clients ending up in the hospital. 4 in a week. That's crazy. Let's not go there. I just need this message to get out. So if you feel that this video rings true for you, please like the video, share the video. We're trying to help our sisters. That's the entire point of this channel, is to help you through menopause and help our sisters through menopause and make sure our daughters never have to go through this struggle that we're going through right now. It's been crazy, a crazy, crazy situation. So anyway, hope you're doing well. Like and share. Take care. Bye.